Chile is considered to be the longest country in the world. Because of this, climates change considerably as you travel through this jewel of a country. From the driest desert in the north to a Mediterranean climate in the center and an oceanic climate in the south. We are Andrea and Mike from Xtremes. Since 2018, we have been living and traveling full-time in our Mercedes-Benz Trucks expedition truck. Join us on our journey around the globe. Let's begin in the very south of Chile, on Tierra del Fuego. 2/3 of the main island belong to Chile and 1/3 to Argentina. Our home on wheels is the perfect vehicle to explore this region, giving us the freedom to stay in this remote area for weeks. The southern and western parts of the island are mountainous and totally wild. We take long hikes through the beech forests, which have already turned yellow and red, and as we cross the mountain ranges, winter catches up with us. Leaving the mountains behind, we arrive at the coast, where we visit the king penguin colony. It is the second largest penguin after the emperor and is usually found on very remote islands. Back on the mainland, we visit the world-known Torres del Paine National Park. The park is known for its towering mountains, the bright blue icebergs that repeatedly break off from the glaciers, and the golden pampas that are home to rare animals such as the llama-like guanacos. North of the famous national park, the Chilean territory is covered by an immense ice field which ends by the Pacific Ocean and can only be accessed by boat. A 2-day ferry ride takes us through the fjords. It is the only way to travel if you don't want to cross the border into Argentina. Passing one of the most remote villages of the country and glaciers that melt into the seawater. We spent several days in the small town of O'Higgins, which marks the end or beginning of the Carretera Austral. More than 1,200 kilometers of the scenic Patagonian route enchant any type of traveler in all seasons. Connects towns like Caleta Tortel, which is a town built along the coast for several kilometers and consists mainly of stilt houses. Another highlight along the road are the capillas de mármol. The marble walls of the caves reflect the color of the waters below, making them a real spectacle of nature. From here, we make a small detour into the Valle Exploradores, a valley away from civilization, characterized by a lush native forests, waterfalls, a beautiful river and glaciers. We camp in several spots and go on hikes to explore our surroundings. Further north, we stop to hike to the Ventisquero Colgante, where the meltwaters of the glacier fall down and finally flow into the Rio Témpanos, becoming one of the 5 tallest waterfalls in South America. Another one of our favorite spots on the Carretera Austral is Puerto Bertrand. We ride our bikes to the coast, hike through fairy tale-like forests, and observe dolphins and sea lions hunting in the bay. The road which leads to this nature paradise is rather narrow, but as there is barely any oncoming traffic, it's not a problem for us. Patagonia is characterized by big landscapes, towering mountains, glaciers, deep blue lakes, and absolute wilderness. We could spend several lifetimes getting to know the corners of this beautiful region. Chile has more than 2,000 volcanoes, 500 of which are considered active. We hiked to the caldera of the Volcán Chaitén, which is an active volcano, so you can't hike all the way to the top. Another ferry takes us to the famous Chiloé island, which is famous for its colorful stilt houses and World Heritage listed wooden churches. After a short ferry ride, we arrive in the central part of the country. One of our favorite places is the Conguillo National Park. Where we can paddle on pristine lakes and hike to the top of the mountain where we can enjoy the view over the volcano and the unique Araucaria trees. The oldest one is 1,800 years old and stands an incredible 50 meters high. After visiting the amazing Saltos del Itata, we head to the coast and on to the capital city, Santiago de Chile. Climate changes as we head north, more cacti appear and the air gets drier, and finally the vegetation disappears. We have arrived in the northern part of Chile. The Atacama Desert is the driest non-polar desert in the world. Some weather stations here have never received rain. We camp in the middle of a huge dune field and many places along the coast. Our truck takes us to a remote place in the desert. From here, we hike through an old riverbed to find ancient rock art. In the evening, we watch as the sun disappears into a sea of clouds and are lucky to observe the comet C2023A3 as it's making its way through our solar system, a true cosmic wonder. As we continue the next day, we make a stop at the famous Mano del Desierto. This has become a POI for any overlander traveling the Pan American Highway. The landscape at the coast changes immensely. Beautiful Caribbean-like beaches invite to go for a swim, until you notice the sea lions, which indicates the low temperatures of the water. A highlight in the north of the country is the Gigante de Atacama, the largest prehistoric anthropomorphic geoglyph in the world. After spending more days in the desert, we visit the city of Iquique for several days. Here we stock up on supplies and make sure our truck is in good conditions before we head back into the desert. The last stop, before we head to the border, is a small town within a canyon. This town dates back to the 12th century. The inhabitants of the valley still preserve their ancestral traditions and customs. After spending nearly 1 year in total of traveling through Chile, it is time for us to leave this beautiful country. We drive up the crazy steep Paso de Jama, all the way up to 4,820 meters over sea level, where we cross the border into Argentina. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Mercedes-Benz. Trucks you can trust.